That's right. The Drive is live on a Reaction Monday. The Texans season comes to an end in Foxborough. They lose to the New England Patriots 28-16. Thank goodness for the defense that they had the 16 up there, because the defense helped them. Their only touchdown drive was set up on a short field, a really short field that the defense set up. It was, as Clint just said in the crosstalk, it was worse than the Baltimore or the Kansas City games, at least the feeling coming out of it. You were the more experienced team. You were the hotter team when it comes to 10 wins in a row going into this game. And you looked nothing of the sort in this game. 713-572-4610, text line, YouTube, and Twitch. We will open up the phone lines. You know we will a little bit later on to hear from you, and because this is one of those days as much as is about you than it is about us. Now, Tyler, we're not going to have anarchy. All right? Now, we're not going to just come over here and people just come over here and just take things over and just go crazy. All right? Now, now we'll get these phone lines open, because I do want to hear from you, and I do want to hear the passion. But we're not going to go crazy here. Okay? All right? So stay with us here as we'll try to get you through this. Remember, we're off early one more time for the Coaches Show with D'Amico Ryans. That'll come up at 5 o'clock, so stay tuned for this. All right, you all can jump in on this as well. Clint, Tyler, be thinking, and I'll start with you, Clint. Just kind of lay it out, man. You've had almost 24 hours to kind of digest this. I know you did the post-game show, and now that you've had a little time, you've been talking about it, thinking about it. What's your reaction? Where are you coming from off of this game?
Beyond frustrated, beyond aggravated, beyond disappointed. This was demoralizing. This took the way in which the Texans lost really took the wind out of my sails, and not just in. I'm typically not a guy that has this kind of emotional swing with a game, even a game where you get eliminated from the playoffs. But this hurt. This was
Stop
painful.
being a dumpster
right?
fire.
I mean, and it starts here. The opportunity that was pissed away by the Houston Texans yesterday. They wasted a generational defense that, by the way, their ability to stay healthy this year, I don't know that you're going to be able to duplicate that ever again.
Over there.
Wasted a weak playoff field with the best AFC draw in the first round that any team could get. Playoff field with no Lamar, no Pat Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, right? You wasted an opportunity at an AFC championship that's obviously going to be versus a backup quarterback in Denver. And all of that just pissed down your leg. And why? Because your quarterback was awful. Your head coach left a lot to be desired. And the way in which you lost, it wasn't, there's nothing there that should give anybody any confidence about this team taking the next step to be closer to a Super Bowl or closer to an AFC championship. There was nothing there.
We sucked.
To sink your teeth into or hang on to in a positive way. So I think it's got to start with just the opportunity that was squandered there for the Texans.
Yeah, man. It was, for me, it was disappointing, Clint, because in the game, everybody appeared to be rattled. Everybody appeared to be shaken. Clearly, CJ was, right? But then you look at D'Amico, he seemed to be shaken. Just his decisions at the end of the half. Like, how are you the team that is down in the second half, Clint, and you got one timeout with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter? Like, how call two timeouts because you can't get the play in? Nick Caley befuddled at times. It just seemed like everybody, including CJ, seemed to be shaken in that game yesterday, and just affected and rattled. And again, I mean, the reasons I gave, Clint, on Friday when we were at Talia of why I didn't like this matchup was, one, on the road. I think that was a factor. They had the better quarterback. I think that was clearly the factor. And the coaching situation. And Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, they outcoached the Texans side, and it really wasn't even close yesterday. And all of those things, and then Nico Collins being out, we saw how big that was, and then it got worse as the game started, and it went on with Trent Brown and Dalton Schultz. So it is disappointing. I don't even know if it's disappointing you lost, but I think what you're saying, the way you lost and who the culprits were that led you to the loss.
Well, I think, look, it's every issue that we bring up, everybody you mentioned, it would be one thing if the quarterback just forced a few balls. And in the waning moments with an opportunity to win, it didn't get it done.
Or they were turnovers like Drake May had.
Right.
Trying to run, strip, sack.
I mean, it would be one thing if your quarterback, played well enough to keep you in it, and then just in a certain moment, or maybe even two moments, didn't make a throw or made a poor decision and was too aggressive. It'd be one thing if, appeared to have a good grasp on things throughout the game, but, man, in the fourth quarter, he just made a game management issue that really hurt you, and, man, we got to talk about it, but we can get beyond it. It would be one thing if, your offensive play caller or your offensive staff just went through a stretch of a couple of plays or a drive where, boy, the quarterback was out of sorts, but we settled things down and got things rolling. But that's not what we're talking about. To your point, it appeared that obviously we could see CJ Stroud being completely rattled and panicking and overwhelmed, but there was clearly some of that with the powers that be on the sideline as well. And so I think you got to look beyond the box score. I think, again, you got to look beyond just, hey, man, here's one play here, one play there. I mean, it was bad overall. And I only say that to say this going into an offseason, you've got a quarterback that appears to be – your quarterback appears to not be a fit for this offense. Your quarterback appears to not rise to the occasion when the moments are big. Your quarterback seems to have a problem processing and communicating this offense. Your play caller, some of the similar situations. He's obviously the guy that's tasked with making sure the quarterback plays well. I mean, these are all issues that aren't just like, dang it, let's fix this thing and keep it moving. They're all major decisions that are going to have to be made for this organization and should make for an interesting offseason.
So where are you at with CJ? We'll do CJ's grade here in a little bit, but coming out of that game, because that is obviously coming out of this game from in the city, outside of the city, where are you at coming out of that game with him?
Yeah, I'm out on CJ Stroud. I don't believe CJ Stroud is the guy that's taking his team to the promised land.
Like you're ready to move on from him. Yes, if you were running things, he would not be the starting quarterback next year.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be a fool in the sense of of not knowing who my guy was. But if the opportunity presented itself to move on and get out of the C.J. Stroud business, I would get out of the C.J. Stroud business. Look, I mean, here's the reality of this, guys. When you're talking about a really good high level franchise pocket passing quarterback, he's got to have two things. Right, from an intangible standpoint. His strengths have to be communicating and processing. C.J. Stroud leaves a lot to be desired, right? When you talk about a pocket passing quarterback, again, I'm talking franchise-type guy, invest $50 to $60 million in, right? A pocket passing quarterback, intangible, superpowers are poised under pressure, calm in chaos, be the rising tide that raises all boats, all ships kind of deal. C.J. Stroud, once again, leaves a lot to be desired. When you talk about being a superstar in this league, right, you take ownership in the game. You take ownership of the offense. You overcome situations that aren't ideal, whether it's supporting cast or offensive coordinators or this or that. In situations in football, you take ownerships of situations. I said it yesterday. If I were in C.J. Stroud's shoes and the head coach decides to punt a fourth quarter with 4 minutes left in the game, we've got one timeout and we're down 2 scores, D'Amico's going to have to come drag me off the field. There's going to be some level of confrontation with my cleats in the turf on that field to get me to come off. There is zero ownership by this quarterback. With the offense, the situation, there's just zero ownership. A star quarterback in this league doesn't need everybody around him to constantly lift him up and voice the support that they have for him. I mean, the fact that Will Anderson felt the need to tell C.J. Stroud that he believes he's still the best quarterback in the NFL is very telling. The fact that people around, the things that that D'Amico says in press conferences and the way that they've handled him, I think speaks volumes about CJ Stroud. And we're talking about star quarterback qualities here. You shouldn't need to be constantly be lifted up and reminded how good you are. And then the star quarterback handles post-game pressers or the pressers in general a certain kind of way. And if we're all honest here, CJ handles them like a high school quarterback that's not confident and not comfortable with their game in the situation. I mean, it is chest up, chin up. I'm gonna keep working, and I'm thankful for the opportunity and I and all this, instead of just, hey man, I was not good enough and I killed my team today. I mean, all the other window dressing stuff, I believe, is just is softening the blow instead of just facing the music. And I don't think he has the I'm going to put a franchise on my back and take them to a Super Bowl. I'm going to live in the playoffs. I'm going to lead a team. I'm going to be the reason we are a Super Bowl caliber team. I just don't believe he's got it.
Yeah, I'm not out on CJ yet. Tyler, are you out? Are you were?
I'm not out 100%, but I'm closer than I've ever been.
Yeah, I'm not out, and I think that the stuff that's most concerning is the body language and that stuff, the reaction stuff. Like, I was talking to some parents that was at my son's birthday party yesterday, and I told them, I said, when Josh was having all his turnovers on Saturday night against the Broncos, when they panned the camera over there, like, you could tell Josh was pissed off at himself, but you could tell Josh also knew, all right, just give me the ball. We're going to get it. We're going to get it back. You got that feel from him. CJ just did look just defeated, right? I mean, after the second pick, the pick six, he looked absolutely defeated. And so that part you don't love. But, again, he is 3 years in the league, and, yes, we're getting further and further away from it, but the alternative is to start over. And your draft status where you are, it's harder to start over there unless you go and try to find your Baker Mayfield or something to start over. And with a guy who has shown the ability of elite level, like as a rookie, to show what he was able to do. And I don't think he has the best around him, but I don't think that's all of it. I think CJ plays a major role into why this offense and his play has regressed. But to me, it feels more like what the Jags may have done with Trevor Lawrence, where people were feeling this way about Trevor, and then they went and found him somebody that could fix him in Liam Cohen, and we saw a better mix. It is hard for me with how hard it is to find quarterbacks, as you know, in this league, for a guy 3 years ago to show, 2 seasons ago to show what he was. It's a little hard for me to just quit on that when for me personally, I don't think you've just put the best around him the whole way.
Well, here's the predicament that the Texans are in, which me being a fan is what's pushed me to where I'm at. Yes, it's hard, Ron, to find your guy, your franchise guy. It's hard to win when you pay the wrong one. It's hard to win, which is proven this year. You've got an all-time great defense. It's hard to win when you got a quarterback that can't just simply not lose the game. Dan Orlovsky said it best, boys. It is the Texans win that game with bad quarterback play. Bad quarterback play. They win that game. And it was awful to the point of where you lose the game. Yeah, it's all, to me, it's all hard, man. And it's going to be a hard decision that they're going to have to make. And the way they're built, I think there's with less than elite talent at the quarterback position.